I'm going to do the astrology for when 3i Atlas passes by Jupiter, which is coming soon on the 16th. I've also recently gotten into Draconic Astrology, which is like mind-blowing to me. So I'm going to look into it a little bit on this video, and I'll probably on more videos be bringing in more of the Draconic. It's more of the inner motivations. I recently read, the usual tropical astrology. It's how our personality is, whereas the Draconic highlights what the soul is about. And yeah, I think 3i Atlas has a soul. We're all connected. So at this time, when 3i Atlas is passing by Jupiter, Neptune and Saturn are conjunct, and that will bring in more seriousness to our spirituality. It's not going to be our spirituality isn't going to be a nebulous kind of thing. We're being encouraged to put into action our beliefs as well as giving form to them. Neptune can be airy-fairy, whereas Saturn is about structure and self-discipline. So this conjunction is inspiring us to get real and to really walk our talk. The Sun is also conjunct this combination, so it's adding extra energy and perhaps telling us to reclaim our sovereignty. Sun is also about illumination, and these three are all in Aries, which is fiery, kind of like an illumination. So Aries is the ignition point, getting it done. It's no longer just about dreaming about things. We need to start putting action behind our thoughts and our words. Neptune, now this is where I'm going to bring in the Draconic. Neptune and Saturn are being influenced by Draconic North Node, Crantor, Mercury, and Mars. The North Node is where we're heading and what we're supposed to accomplish. Crantor is spiritual enlightenment and transformation. So he's nudging Neptune and Saturn in that direction. Mercury is how we think, and Mars is how we act. So again, we need to be diligent in walking our talk and being mindful of what we focus on. Icarus is conjunct the Moon. The Moon is nurturing, inward, compassionate, and intuitive. Icarus represents ambition, optimism, wonder and determination. But he also represents being reckless, rash, overly ambitious, and hubris. And these are in Aquarius, so Aquarius is bringing in some of that detached energy. So I feel like 3i Atlas is encouraging us to look at our ambitions and goals, but, be neutral, be detached when looking at them. Do our goals and ambitions still fit who we are today? Do they help us grow and heal? Or do our goals take us away from compassion, or are they selfish? The Moon and Icarus are being influenced by the Draconic placements of Pluto, Hecate, and Industria. The Moon is, like I said, inward, intuitive, which is being even more emphasized with Pluto, which goes inward and dives deep, and it can bring up these deep emotions. This will be a time of deep healing and transformation. But remember to bring in the Moon's nurturing qualities to yourself as you go through this process. Pluto is also about beginnings and endings, and the Moon is, cyclical. So remember, when you're going through really emotionally turbulent times, perhaps brought about during this time by Icarus's overreach, that this too shall pass. I see Pluto as influencing Icarus, as putting more emphasis on asking ourselves, what really are our goals and ambitions? Are they born out of hubris or, power and control issues? Or are they there for your and other people's highest and greatest good? The asteroid Industria was named for diligence, being careful and persistent. And that, ties in nicely with all of this, contemplating and persistence. Hecate represents mysticism and spirituality, boundaries and choices. She also represents the moon, so more of the moon's qualities are really, really being emphasized here. She also represents crossroads. So is this placement a way for Three-Eye Atlas to signal humanity is at say, a crossroads in its evolution? I think so. Are we at a rebirth stage? Are we going to honor our evolution and growth? Or are we going to stay stuck in hubris and overambition and power and control struggles, or treading on the boundaries of other people, other life forms, or even Mother Earth herself? It's time, I think, this whole astrological formation, it's telling us it's time for humanity to grow up. And we're at this crossroads now. What are we going to choose? Damocles and Crantor are conjunct North Node, Mercury, and Mars. North Node represents where we're heading and what we're supposed to accomplish. And there's Damocles, the sword of Damocles. Much like, it's much like a crossroads. So we really need to take seriously the astrological placements at this time. The chart is wow, it's potent enough as it is, but with Three-Eye Atlas adding to the mix, it's like a big exclamation mark. And now we have, and also Crantor is sensitive and nurturing, which sounds like the moon. He's also passionate, transformational, which is like Pluto. Crantor also represents spiritual enlightenment, self-reflection, contemplation, and a quest for knowledge. So this sounds like, awesome energies to have during this crossroads time. And Crantor also emphasizes the need to be grounded while we contemplate the spiritual and metaphysical, which is kind of like being grounded is like nurturing, like the moon. Mercury is about logic, as well as how we think and communicate. Again, more contemplation. And perhaps this placement is asking us to be mindful of how we communicate. And Mars can be fiery and passionate, but he also brings in courage, willpower, hard work, and industriousness, which reminds me of diligence in the asteroid Industria. Mars is also about independence, and it's time humans started to think for ourselves and reclaim our sovereignty. I also noticed that Jupiter, the planet of expansion, is in Leo in the Draconic chart, again bringing in more sovereignty. Ritona is conjunct the Sun. Ritona is the goddess of fords, ferrymen, and water crossings. Crossings reminds me of crossroads. Maybe this is crossing the Rubicon. Do we want to continue doing the same things, getting an even more broken world? Or do we want to do something different, something better, as Three-Eye Atlas is trying to show us? Ritona and the Sun are being influenced by Draconic Damocles. So again, which way will humanity turn? Will we continue to allow power to hurt others? Or will we choose a more harmonious and peaceful way? Salacia and Asclepius are conjunct Venus. Venus is about love and harmony, and we have Salacia coming in to help with her energies of determination, intuition, resourcefulness, and calmness. Asclepius is about healing, transformation, hope, and the balance of body, mind, and spirit. So we do have all these wonderful energies to us that we can just call on and contemplate, connect to help bring about peace, love, and harmony. And it really does begin with each one of us. Draconic Ritona is influencing Asclepius. Remember, Ritona is like a crossroads. So we have a choice of which path to take for healing. Choices are certainly definitely a theme during this time of Three-Eye Atlas passing close to Jupiter. So this is like such an important time for us. Well, now and for the next probably few years. Alicanto is conjunct Uranus. Uranus is associated with sovereignty as well as humanitarianism and is revolutionary, evolutionary, and revelatory. So maybe more things might come to light. Alicanto respects nature and uses power in a generous and kind way. It can also represent getting lost and the dangers of greed. And Uranus can be associated with shocks and surprises. So maybe as a more harmonious world emerges, try not to be distracted by the old world, the nefarious parasitic systems as they fall away. We need to just keep focusing on peace and harmony. We can birth a new world, or at least those of us who are choosing love and harmony, we can move onto a higher timeline. Draconically, Alicanto and Uranus are conjunct in Gemini, and Gemini has to do with duality, the twins. So perhaps there's a healing or a blending of dualities during this time and for the next foreseeable future. Chiron is influenced by Draconic Saturn and Neptune. So our healing needs to be spiritual and physical, and we need to do the work. It can't just be all thought and thinking about healing. We need to do the work. We need to take action. We need to contemplate. We need to do the spiritual and some somatic practices, meditation, whatever, that helps us heal with our emotional and physical healing, whatever we need to balance out. Now, let me talk about Jupiter, since this is the planet that Three-Eye Atlas is passing by at this time. Jupiter represents faith and wisdom. It's in Cancer, which is compassion and intuition, as well as ancestors. So maybe this might be a good time to do some ancestral healing. And it might also be a time, since it's ancestors, it's history. So perhaps more of our real human history will be revealed during this time frame and the next several years. Remember, the energies of Three-Eye Atlas passing through our neck of the woods will remain with us for years to come. Now, Jupiter is at 15 degrees Cancer in the tropical chart. In my book, Astroscension, Gifts from the Cosmos, I list the gems and the wounds of each degree. 15 degrees Cancer. The gems are wisdom, illumination, creativity, abundance, transformation, service to others, messages or messengers, which we've got Three-Eye Atlas, that's quite a messenger. Perception, dreams, inner guidance, purity, cleansing, renewal, innocence, optimism, gentleness, overcoming challenges, perseverance, and a guide or a teacher. It's also connected to the angelic realms, travels, journey, and an inner knowing of what to do and where to go next. Now, the wounds can be lazy, antisocial, lonely, negative, restless, overly ambitious, attention-seeking, materialistic, selfish, hopeless, easily discouraged, timid, and feeling cursed, which we can certainly see a lot of people, especially leaders, governments, exhibiting these kind of traits. There was a recent article, I think it was a couple days ago, I saw about some scientists discovered more about the chemical composition of Three-Eye Atlas. And they found that it has high levels of methanol and hydrogen cyanide. So I thought, well, let me do a little research, and I looked up, like, say, the spiritual significance of these chemicals. And they're about transformation, purification, creation and destruction, insights and revelations, balance and harmony, becoming aware of toxic influences. So I thought, wow, that is really just the perfect time, isn't it? This is what's happening. The astrology, that just kind of like, wow. So, oh, and it also can represent actions and consequences. So we see this playing out all now, and 3i Atlas is just like so awesome, such an awesome messenger for what's playing out on the physical plane right now. So, like I said, even though things may look and are chaotic on the earth right now, we have these beautiful celestial bodies giving us these positive energies. They're gifts, they're gems that we can tune into and focus on so that we can help build a better world.